With continuous social and economic development, our energy consumption is ever growing. Global warming and air pollution have become increasing problems for our environment. Transport fuels such as petrol, diesel, and emission of carbon dioxide, nitrogen oxide, sulfur oxides, and particle matter are the main source of pollution. The experience around the world shows that LNG is considered the most ideal fossil fuel to reduce environmental pollution. LNG is natural gas cooled to negative 162 degrees Celsius under atmospheric conditions. All impurities of natural gas have been removed in the process of liquefaction. LNG is therefore colorless, odorless, and non-toxic. Its usage as fuel will reduce carbon dioxide emissions by 20%, sulfur oxides 100%, nitrogen oxides 90%, and suspended particle matter 100%. Safety Factor 1. New type of fuel, intrinsically safe. Because of the limited history of LNG in China, people do not have an in-depth understanding of its safety. LNG is in fact a more safe fuel than gasoline and diesel. That is because compared with gasoline, diesel, and LPG, LNG has higher ignition point, hence more difficult to ignite. Rapid evaporation limits concentration, hence lowers the probability of explosion. Specifically, the safety of LNG is reflected in the following aspects. Firstly, LNG must be kept at very low temperature. Once it is released into the environment, it will quickly dissipate. On the contrary, if petrol is leaked into the environment, it stays where it is, which could lead to fire and other safety hazards. Secondly, LNG is a non-polluting, non-toxic substance. We put LNG onto a container. It will safely become a colorless, tasteless, non-toxic natural gas. On the other hand, gasoline would stay in the container for a long time and produce a toxic, smelly volatile. We add LNG to a cup of water. After its rapid evaporation, one can still safely drink the water. This means that even if there is an LNG leakage, it does not require any cleanup operation as it can quickly and completely evaporate with no residual contamination, unlike spillage of gasoline, diesel, and other fuels. These other fuels cause in many cases irrecoverable damage to the water and soil when spilled. LNG is in liquid form with very low temperature, very difficult to be ignited directly by fire. As a matter of fact, it will even extinguish lit cigarettes. The LNG fire we see is actually natural gas burning after regasification. Safety Factor 2. Safe and reliable application. LNG as a transportation fuel is safe and reliable. The storage facilities such as cylinders and tanks in the LNG vehicles and ships are able to withstand the risk and danger in serious traffic accidents. To verify that the integrity of LNG tanks in terms of tolerating the impact of all collision and rollover accidents, we dropped a tank from 3 meters and 10 meters high respectively. There are no frost or condensation on the surface. Its main structure and thermal insulation system remain intact without leaks. To prove the safety of the tanks in fire accident, we placed LNG tank above a burning flame for a long time. The liquid in the bottle did not become gasified. The cylinders remained well insulated. Thus, it can be said that in the event of fire, there is limited risk of leaks. In fire accidents caused by other reasons, even though the car is completely burnt, the LNG tank is still intact, no occurrence of fuel leakage. Safety Factor 3. Controllable outcome of accidents. Though the safe design of LNG storage equipment and fuel system is already mature, the probability of catastrophic accidents are low. We still conducted some computer simulation and field experiment to understand how LNG behaves under some extreme conditions. The results show that the danger is within an acceptable range. As we know, LNG will become hot when kept in storage tanks. It will result in high internal pressure and result in leaks. To study the safety hazard of LNG vehicles parked long-term in a garage, we placed a car with full tank in a garage for a very long time, and we monitored the methane concentration in the garage. The results shows that under normal ventilation conditions, the concentration of methane in the garage is always below the point of ignition. For large garage, we simulated a large 200-car parking lot by computer with 5 LNG cars releasing gas due to high pressure. The gas evaporates quickly, never enough to cause explosion. Even if 20 of LNG cars are emitting gas and it is ignited by accident, the result is not serious enough to cause damage to the building and people around the building. LNG storage equipment is very solid. It can even withstand the impact of high-speed bullet. In order to observe the consequences of tank becoming ruptured in serious accidents, we fired real gun shells at the tank to break it. We can see that once LNG has escaped, it forms many small clusters of methane, lighter than air, which vaporizes quickly. To make it even more extreme, we placed various sources of fire around the ruptured tank, and our observation is LNG can be ignited, but it becomes jet fire. It will not explode. We can also see that after LNG is emitted from the cylinders, it will only form flames after some distance, what the liquid needs to regasify, and the flame will move upwards, but it will not spread around the ground. Therefore, fire on the ground is short-lived. In order to simulate a large-scale leakage and burning, we use a spray gun to spray LNG at fire. The result is that a stable flame will form at some distance from the ground. No explosions. As a contrast, let us compare how LPG would have behaved under the same circumstance. Since LPG is mainly propane, its density is greater than air. Formation of combustible gas cloud gathers and stays at the ground, easily results in explosion when ignited. How to put out fire from LNG? A large number of tests show that we can use dry powder and foam to extinguish the small-scale fire. Same applies for big-scale fire. As a vehicle fuel, LNG has been used for more than 20 years. It has a good record of safety for the equipment and systems used. There has not been one single death resulting from LNG fire or explosion in the history of LNG vehicles. The National Transport Safety Board of the U.S. has reported that, compared with gasoline, alcohol, and other fuels, LNG has the best safety record for over 20 years. It has really been proven through practical application and scientific experiment that LNG is a safe and environmentally friendly fuel. LNG is green, safe, and reliable. CNOOC will continue its relentless efforts to promote the development of this sunrise industry in order to create better living for all.